Hey guys, Shadowman's here again. This is going to be part two of the two-part of Hunter's Roundtable, episode one. So if you haven't watched part one yet, links for that are down in the description. Let's just go ahead and jump right into part two. Thanks for coming out and watching. But we're going to move on to the very next question, or very next topic, which we're going to limit the hardware a bit, okay? We're going to limit it down. So would you guys purchase a handheld version of the game? And if you would purchase a handheld, what kind of stuff would you want to see on that version? So think like buying a Monster Hunter game that was specifically made for like the Nintendo Switch. Ooh.
Jumping on quickly on that one, for myself, no. Only reason I say no is because I don't tend to play handheld games, and if I'm not on my computer, then I'm doing other stuff, so I don't generally have time to play handheld games. So for me, it's a quick one. No, fortunately, I wouldn't.
Okay, that's fair enough. Camo, Hurley, Scuba.
I tried the handheld thing and it couldn't I couldn't kind of get in there because of the screen size, screen limitation. What I've noticed, especially with Monster Hunter World, is like there's a larger screen you can see. There's definitely a lot more you can interact with. Tightening it down to a small screen to me was really hard to deal with because they tried to have as much detail on a big screen on a small screen, and it didn't work for me. So if you were going to try and do it on a handheld, you'd have to kind of take it down to a lot more focus, which at that point you're sacrificing some of the broader world texturing and imagery. So definitely wouldn't do it a hand. Definitely probably wouldn't do a handheld unless they like totally changed up how you interacted with the game.
Okay, okay. Hurley, Camo, you guys got anything?
I don't really do handheld, and that's mainly because I say I'm normally at home playing games and stuff, and like if I do stuff like that, be on like console or PC mainly. But would I play it? I suppose if I was stuck out somewhere, if I was on like pens, it'd be something I'd pick up and play. But I don't know whether I could say I'd dedicate myself to a handheld version. It would have to be very, I wouldn't say basic because then I am going to be bored of it, but. You know what I mean? It's got to have. It's the attitude, like the difference between Battlefield and Call of Duty players. What's the difference? Call of Duty you can pick up, and depending on what mode you want to play, you can literally turn it on, throw yourself in a game, play one game for 10 minutes, turn it off, go do something else for an hour or two, come back, turn it back on, do the same thing. If you do that on Battlefield, the amount of time it takes to load in, choose a map, load into the server, and then most game modes are a good half hour to 40 minutes. So you are stuck for 40 minutes if you want to gain any experience because you've got to stay for the whole game or you lose it. So there's no point joining it otherwise. So it's that excuse. So that's what I mean. Like with a handheld, I want to feel like if I am only just playing it here and there, I'm still progressing, but I don't feel like I have to go, oh no, I haven't played my handheld version for ages. Quick, get on that grind. Considering obviously you've got Monster Hunter World, the main version, which is one hell of amount of content as it is. So yeah, I'd have to say I probably wouldn't. It was literally a carbon copy of Monster Hunter World on a handheld. Then I wouldn't be able to cope. I'm not even gonna lie, that's my honest excuse. I couldn't cope with that amount of content on handheld and console. I can't do
Right,
that.
right. Well, I definitely don't think it would be a literal carbon copy of World because the handheld is definitely limited in terms of hardware and what it's able to achieve. But Camo, you got anything?
I think it'd be really interesting actually, especially with how the Switch works. Obviously, being able to take it on the go, and then being able to so you're outside, you're out for a couple of hours, and you get home, and you're like, do you know what? I really want to pick it up again. And instead of just going straight to handheld, you could pop it in the little port and play it on the big screen. So I think that's like a massive improvement to how it would have been if we were talking like a 3DS or something on the lines of that. I think they could upscale the graphics obviously from how it was to the 3DS and all that kind of stuff. And thinking about it, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate was massive. Like the amount of monsters that were in it, the world itself, like for a handheld game, it was actually really large. And I think obviously they'd toned down the graphics and all that kind of stuff, but I 100% pick up a handheld Monster Hunter again, because I think it was because I never really truly got into the handheld versions. So being able to play a more up-to-date handheld version of a Monster Hunter game would be great, really. It'd be great because it's great being able to play Monster Hunter when you're sitting at home or on your console or something like that, but having the ability to play it like out and about and then jump on when you get home, and it'd be great, really. So I'd definitely 100% pick it up if a Monster Hunter game came to a handheld version, or console, should I say.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I think me personally, I'm holding out for more games like Monster Hunter Stories on handheld. To be honest with you.
I got one for you. How
Yeah,
about
go.
instead of a handheld, what about VR platform if there's one already there? Would you play Monster Hunter World in a VR platform like on an Oculus?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
See, there's our handheld mobile moment.
if I can afford the platform, of course. Just
Yeah, what
one.
Dan said.
While you guys have been talking about that as well, I was thinking what would actually make me play it on a mobile. So I think 2 points. I think two. I might end up being three, but one being if it was tied to the same database. So if you are playing World or the next iteration of it, and they create it on a mobile with a stripped down version, but it shares the same database, then if I was out and about, then it would be nice because I could just do a little bit of extra grinding. But again, the issue is the length of time you put in on the hunts. You know, if I'm just traveling around, if I'm on a train or something like that, I may not have like 40 minutes to sit there and do an entire hunt. And I have heard that in previous games you used to be able to play the Palico. Now I don't know all the details about that, but if you could have it linked to your data, linked to the same database, so you can add to your progress, then what it would be nice to see is to actually hunt as your Palico, but on like mini hunts. So imagine that we're not fighting, you know, like the Great Jaguars, we're not fighting Kushala. Think about the actual just standard Jaguars, the Shamos, you know, things like this. Imagine fighting like an elite version of one of them that can fit in like anywhere from like a 10-minute to say 10 to 50-minute window. Then you could potentially go out and do that, and then turn it off and then carry on and doing whatever you're doing. Come back on your system. You've now got materials for the little creatures as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually really love that idea. And that is the first time I've ever heard somebody bring it up in a sense that make it its own separate game, but have it as an interaction with the main game still. That's actually a fantastic idea.
I was going to say, yeah, with the experience or the stuff you collect from your Palico's missions, could that then perhaps be useful to you in your main game back home? Because then I would definitely have more incentive when out to find time when I'm out to go, oh, whilst I'm out, I might as well play a bit of Monster Hunter Palico. Yeah. But
I think a lot of that, I think the concept of that has already been out in other games, having a companion type app or whatnot, even if it was something you could download on a mobile device instead of like a dedicated handheld. With other games, they've had some, I want to say that they've had some time of tech that did that. So it probably wouldn't be too unfeasible. And I'm sure it would be a marketing success if all of a sudden, if you're that person, it's like, okay, you want to do that 2-hour hunt for whatever big bad, but you want to prepare for it and you've got a 2-hour commute on a mass transit, then that's a good way to burn that time.
Yeah, I think with you mentioning that, the only ones that are coming to mind, I think, is like some of the Assassin's Creed games. They had, I think it was like Brotherhood or something, where on the tablet you could have that and you could send off your troops to go and do these little missions. You didn't actually do the mission itself. It's just, you know, UI based, but you know, you send them off a few hours later, they come back to either passed or failed, and you have more materials. So they have that. Yeah, things like that have existed before as well. Yeah.
So basically,
I've had it. You could train your dog. You could train your dog on the app, and then if you load into GTA 5, the character's dog is like super trained. so it saves you doing it in game. So if you want to do it offline, like away from your console.
So basically, it's just like as if you took the Tail Rider Safaris and like put it into a separate part of its own. So if you sent out a Tail Rider Safari, you could jump in as the Palico, but on a smaller scale. So instead of sending your Palicos out to like hunt a Legiana or getting the materials for a Legiana, you'd actually send it out and do it yourself, but on a smaller scale for like the small monsters like the Jagras and Shamos and kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the I didn't actually think about it being the Palico, the Tail Rider things, but yeah, that could work because you could send them out, and then if you don't have the time to jump on, you're on the train, somebody's talking to you or something, you don't have the time. At least they're still going to get it done.
Yeah.
Just they might get like
bonus
just
ones if you do
one rewards, but if you actually have the time to jump in and do the hunt yourself, you maybe get like a 1.5 multiplier on the reward or something like that.
Yeah, or I mean, it doesn't
like
even
that.
have to be like through Tail Riders. Like Generations Ultimate had the ability to where you could play as a Palico, and then they had their own separate quests that you could go and do as well.
Yeah.
So it could be even set up like that. Yeah, I like that idea as a whole. That
Why is
sounds
that not in the game
fantastic.
already?
Capcom, if you're watching this, we've just given you a golden ticket. Take it,
I'm a
please.
developer for a reason, people.
All right, so we're going to be moving on to our next question, which was kind of a tie-in with one earlier, and it was kind of one that you talked about when you were talking about like Capcom success and everything like that. But what's your guys' view on the future of the franchise and how it would affect Capcom's decisions going forward, with maybe how it's like marketed or the kinds of platforms that it would appear on, etc.
Well, they're going to run out of money with the amount of content they give out for free, but please don't stop changing that if you can't afford it. As I said, put it great, keep doing it because we love you for it. But yeah, that dynamic, whether they can keep thriving on that. I mean, Resident Evil remakes are doing fantastic. I know April I will be purchasing Nemesis, and I'm sure that will help them again. But I don't know if that's the kind of money that feeds Monster Hunter World. I don't know how much money Monster Hunter World makes them. But in the future prospect of this, just keep doing what they're doing. I can't really.
Well, I can definitely say off of their last sales numbers that Monster Hunter World has been like their cash cow the past couple of years.
I was about to say it is their best-selling game ever.
That's good to know.
So what is it like? What was it? It was a ridiculous number. 7.5 million copies.
I think it was like 14 million for base game, and then 4 and some change for Iceborne itself.
So that just shows you how much of a massive reception World got, especially like with it being introduced in the West. So I think this was kind of like their starting point to kind of spread Monster Hunter mainstream into the West.
58 million units as of 2019, the base game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the game their eyes should be opening now and like glittering. So they've managed to introduce it and firmly get a nice foothold in the main platform industry. And I mean, I don't know how many employees they have and how many are going to be in on the revenue that's coming in from this, but I would say they could either stick the way they've got and carry on the way they're going and use the money in ways that can, I don't know, progress the technology in some way, or they can actually splash the money out and actually hire more people in and get another game out quicker. But the nice thing now is that they are in a power position. They know they've got a product that is going to be selling very, very well. They now know they have access to extra markets, and they now know that they are how do I say this? They are learning new technologies and becoming familiar with it, which means that it opens more doors. So they're literally now stood in a corridor with doors coming off left and right all over the place, and they can do whatever the hell they want. And the nice thing is that no matter which door they go through, it's going to be great for the community of Monster Hunter no matter what. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming. And I do hope that includes crossplay, Soxybet. I'm sorry.
Or Yuri, if you're listening to this too.
They definitely need to look after this because I didn't realize how well Monster Hunter World sold in comparison. Even Resident Evil, like, I love Resident Evil. Damn, Capcom, you got a baby right here. Don't kill it. Keep going. Nurture that baby, man.
Yeah, it was both their highest selling and fastest selling game. So it broke like every Capcom record. It was nice. Well, Scuba, you got anything you'd like to add?
Not really. I mean, it's amazing how this is going. And just listening to you guys talking about it, and I'm kind of just scrolling through because I haven't picked up Iceborne yet, and I'm just looking at all the stuff with it. So I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's great that it's got the longevity so far because you figure it might have been a flash in the pan, but this one it's like, I mean, come on, how many other games have like The Witcher as a DLC pack? And it's like totally different developer studios. So
now we just need Final Fantasy VII stuff.
Oh yeah. Just what we need, a Buster Blade on a hunt.
Yes. I don't even use Longsword, but give me Sephiroth's Masamune Blade. Yes, please. Thank you. Job
done.
You said you wanted new weapons as well. Bring in not just Final Fantasy VII, but the others, and give us a gunblade. You know, yes, we've got the gun lance. Give us a gunblade.
Squall's gunblade. How cool would that be? Oh no. I'd pay for that. Hey, Capcom, I'd actually pay for that. I'd actually pay for that DLC. Not even joking. Have my money now. Take my cash now.
Take my money now.
Take it. You have my wallet.
I think what Capcom kind of need to do as well, just on like another point, is with the success of World, obviously with it selling so well, it's brought in huge amount of people that it's going to be like the first time they've ever played a Monster Hunter. But then I think they need to listen to the veterans of the game. I'm not saying they don't now, but I'm saying that obviously the newer players and haven't experienced as much as the veterans. So I'm just hoping with how well this game has sold in the West and how so many new players have picked it up, I'm just hoping with that they can transition and kind of move forward, but with keeping how the veterans of the game see it, so then it doesn't go on a downfall for them, so it doesn't become more like a casual hunting game. Obviously I don't think it will, because that's just not Monster Hunter's style, but I just hope they carry on listening to how veteran players of the series and just basically just listen to what the community as a whole want to see, but not like too much where they're just bending their will to the community kind of thing. So it's kind of like I want them to keep a good balance of progressing in their way, but at the same time keeping what the community would like to see. So it's kind of a good balance. I wouldn't want them to do one or the other, if you know what I mean.
I entirely agree with that. I think that's a very important point as well. They do need to cater for both audiences because they need to bring in the new blood as well as cater to the old blood. So yeah, 100% agree on that one. But they do need the balance, and that's where a lot of scalability comes in terms of difficulty and the content. You know, the nice thing is having the hunter ranks and the master rank to try and lock people behind certain difficulty levels. So that's great, and I think that's where the advanced way of playing should certainly come in, but they still need to have that nice early entry for the people that don't
dig at fashion on him.
There's more to the fashion hunting, but so yeah, then they definitely need to cater to both ends of the spectrum there. And one of the best things about the way they've created their skills and the stats in the game is definitely through the not having the stats on the actual player itself and having it on the armor, because that means you can actually just split. You know, at one point you can be doing that end level content, next minute you can put on some low level gear and go and help your friends that are just starting out in the game without ruining their experience for them. And I think that's one of Capcom's geniuses. So
thank you, Dai.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Carry
on, Camo. I was just saying I wanted to agree. I didn't want to interject too much.
No. It's fine. But that's all. That's all really I had to say on the matter. I just want them to keep a good balance of how they construct the next game as such. If they make the next game moving forward, obviously.
Okay, yeah, I think that's something that I could 100% agree with. Basically, what we're saying, Capcom, is we love you. Please keep this team rolling. All right.
me more.
Give me more. All right, so we're coming into the final question here, and this is one that I think that I think it'd be fun to ask because you never know what games people have played and which ones they won't, or which ones they haven't. But out of every Monster Hunter game title that has been out, excluding Frontier and Monster Hunter Online, since those two no longer exist, which older titles would you want to go back and give a shot and try to play? We'll go left to right. We'll start with Camo, and we'll work our way down.
I really want to give Full Ultimate a real hard dig in this time because obviously before it was more of a casual play. I'd pick it up when I felt like it, kind of thing. So I really want to jump right into that and go right into the deep end and carry on with it rather than just pick it up every now and again. And what was the PSP one?
Which one?
Oh, they're numerous. Okay.
I know DOS was on PSP, and I believe the G rank version of DOS was also on PSP.
There was one on PSP. I can't think of its name, but I would like to try that. I think I just really want to try the more handheld ones and try and get into them as seriously as I have with World. Kind of experience what the veterans of the series have. Kind of get an understanding of the older games compared to World itself.
Okay, yeah, I definitely think that's a fair enough thing to want to do. There's definitely a lot of monsters that have been in the past games that they haven't brought up to some of the newer games. So I think that would be a fun way of going back and learning about what the what kept the series going. I think that would definitely be a fun way of doing it. DaiReaver, it is your turn.
It's a hard one for me to answer because I've not actually looked into the old ones. I've got to admit, I get told a lot about the features from them, the mechanics, the items. The veterans are always bringing it up because of how much they love the series. But I've got to say, when I look back and I see some of the games, I'll see the fights and I'll think, oh, that's looking good. I want to get in that. But then the issue for me is the lack of the seamless areas. So when the monster escapes and goes to a different area and then you load into the next area, even if it's a short load time, it's that break. I don't think I could actually go back and play them because of that. If they re-released them, and kept them the same apart from taking out the loading, if they actually managed to meld the areas together so you could actually transition from area to area like you can in Monster Hunter World, I might go back and play them. If of course I had the platform as well, or if they did it so that it was emulated on a PlayStation or a PC, whatever. But as it stands now, I feel like I don't have any incentive to actually go back and play them, because that would just be a frustration for me, not just as a gamer but also as a developer. It would frustrate me a lot.
All right, yeah, no, that's fair enough. Hurley, you're next.
Just put it in the text chat, but yeah, basically all I want is Palaco water hunts and more monsters, but I'm with Diet. I don't want to go back to have to do that. Give me it in World. I'm gonna say it. Capcom, I'm so sorry. I'm fat hungry gamer and I love content and I want to eat it all, okay? Give me all of my cake. I want Palaco hunts, underwater hunts, and more monsters in World, but I don't want to have to go back and buy your previous games. I don't. I want it all in the package of World. And that sounds bad, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the lore of it, because obviously without the other games and transitions of all the different games, we wouldn't be here discussing World today. So I'm obviously appreciative of those and everything else, but with everything I'm used to, and even now, like when me and Di have been hunting in the last few months in Iceborne, you start to forget how quickly you get used to new mechanics, because it was only until me and Di were talking about a hunt, and he was like, well, imagine doing this without iceborne mechanics. And I was like, what? And Di turned around and he went, well, you wouldn't have a clutch claw. And I was like, oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Cool. We used to hunt things without like wounding them and stuff. I was like, cool, yeah, that sucked. Like, that was not fun now you mentioned that. Like, the idea of going backwards and saying to me, you can't do this move and this move's not in the game, I would feel really limited. And I'd be like, come on, man, did I really enjoy doing that without that? Like, wow. So it's sort of that whole once you don't know what you've got, you know, if you're not missing it if you ain't got it. But now that I know I'm missing it, I'm like, where is it in the game? Like, I want it back. So it's one of those things. I don't want to go back in that respect to find out what they're like. I'd say I'm happy for them to, or I'm happy to wait for them to develop it and bring it in the form of world, and would appreciate it a lot more, respecting it from where it's come from, than going back and finding a way to play it now. Plus time constraint as well.
I failed with you, Padawan. You can't say that it sucked. It was great. It was great. I'd go back to those mechanics. I'd still play without the iceborne mechanics, but then I'd still want them back to then do it.
Oh no,
again.
I didn't mean sucked as in that way, but you know what I mean? Like, when you get used to the hunt, like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Yeah, that was like, if you think about the hunts we do now, I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that without wounding. Like, the amount, it's because I rely on it. I'm not going to lie. It's because you get used to certain mechanics. I'm like, come on, man, I clutch claw all the time. Like, God. So it's just that whole, you know, once you get used to something, you start to, what's the word?
Familiarized.
You take it for granted, I suppose, but not. It's not like you do take it for granted, but it's like you forget, you know, you didn't have that before. And it's like, oh, yeah, crap, we used to do that without that before. So, yeah, I just don't think I could go back and limit myself, Shadow Mains, to being on the other platforms of the other game.
Well,
But
nope,
the mechanics and
that's
everything
fair.
in this is good.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I definitely know that there are people who are much in the same boat and in the same agreement when it comes to that. Scuba, you're the last one here.
Oh joy! I think the word you were looking for was complacency. With the using the
that
clutch
is
claw.
the word. See, damn it.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna go with what Camo said and give Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate another try. I was just looking at my 3DS on the shelf here, but I definitely been thinking about wanting to give that a try just to kind of work through that mechanic to see what improvements to the mechanics were made when we get into World. But also on the same token, I'd kind of want to see the content of the older stuff with World's mechanics, so that can kind of see how would that change things. Context wise, recently some friends of mine are going through the Halo Master Chief stuff and playing Halo 5 and that mechanics, and then going back to Halo ODST, some of the mechanics are not there. So it's that jarring motion of going back and forth, which is something I'm kind of hesitant on getting into it. But also, since I haven't touched Monster Hunter World in a few months, I want to go back. I really actually been thinking about going back and playing that and getting Iceborne to see what all the fun is from a hands-on perspective.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And it's interesting you guys bring up 4U, because 4U is definitely a game that I go back to from time to time just because it's such a fantastic well, as far as story goes, it is a fantastic entry into the series. I think it's got like some of the best story content that Monster Hunter has had to offer since it's been out, I guess. DaiReaver, you're saying that you were pinging me saying that you wanted to bring up stuff on UI improvements and stuff. So go right ahead.
Yes, there's one point I've completely forgot to mention that's actually incredibly important. So if Capcom do listen to this, then this is something that is incredibly needed, and I should get in touch with Soxy Bear to tell him. So one of the massive issues we have in Monster Hunter at the moment, and I hope it's going to be resolved in the future. One is whenever anybody disconnects from a group, they cannot take their slot back, they are locked out of that party. Then they can't get back in. That I think needs to be resolved, and that should be an easy thing to resolve as well in terms of being a developer. I'm a professional programmer as it is for the games industry. I could do it. If you want me to do it, get in touch. But indeed, we need to be able to allow people back into the parties. But in terms of the actual lobby itself, as a streamer, there's a few of us here are streamers, and we sometimes encounter issues where, unfortunately, there's always a bad apple somewhere, and we don't have enough control over the lobbies as it is. If we are streamers promoting your product and we are doing everything we can, we're loving the game, we're trying to give people an environment to enjoy themselves, we need to be able to control that lobby. So we have our squad lobbies. 50 is too small. We need much more space to actually have people in our squad. I'm always having to remove people and add people in. We need bigger lobbies. Not lobbies, we need bigger squads. But also, when you are the squad leader and you join your squad session, you don't have control of your lobby. There needs to be a way that you can control the lobby if you are the one that created that squad lobby. And we need to be able to not just remove people from session, but we should be able to ban people from the session, because we will get trolled being streamers. We will have people that jump in and try and ruin the experience for other people. So we need more controls on that point. It's incredibly important if you want streamers to keep promoting your product. So that's one thing that needed to be mentioned. So there you go.
Yep, nope, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. All right, so but yeah, guys, nope, that was the last question. So really quick, we're gonna go down the same order that we've been doing. Tell everybody where they can find you. Streamer, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever you do. Share it with the people who are gracious enough to watch this video, where they can find you lovely peeps. So we'll start with Camo.
I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/TheCamoGaming. You can find me on Twitter at TheCamoGaming without the G at the end. Yeah, that's all my platforms.
Okay, I am a streamer. I've been streaming for about a year and a half. No, actually coming up to 2 years now. So I am streaming three nights a week on Twitch. So you can find me on any platform as DaiReaver. So that's twitch.tv/DaiReaver, if considering you can't see my logo. So indeed, catch me on any platform there, and yeah, I'll be great to see you if you want to pop by. And if you do pop by, don't forget to check the others out as well. Check Shadowmains is amazing. Check him out too. Hurley, TheCamoGaming, ScubaCod. Check us all out, because we're good fun. You will have a laugh.
Go ahead, Hurley. Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh yeah, HMB Hurley1 Twitch TV. So yeah, rarity streamer. Trying to stream on a daily basis, or at least 3-4 times a week. Check us out, and yeah. And Twitter is again the same, HB_Hurley1 as well. So yeah, check us out there, guys.
And Scuba rounding us out.
Alrighty. Check me out on social media, at ScubaCod, Instagram, Twitter, on Twitch. It's Scuba Studio, and I streaming on Twitch more, but I also do a podcast every week with one of my friends, Rye, and we talk movies, games, just general geek culture. So Tuesday nights on Twitch at 8 p.m. You can also find Scuba Studio on YouTube and on Mixer. So check us out. Have a good time.
And guys, all of their links that they've just mentioned, all the different places you can find them, will be down in the description below. So yeah, be sure to check all 4 of these beautiful people out, because you are 100% going to love them, 100% going to be entertained, and yeah, you're going to have a good time. But guys,
make sure you follow Shadowmains on Twitch as well.
Oh yes, gotta shout out to Shadowmains. Gotta follow him if you don't already.
Yeah, my links will also be down in the description below.
Hey, wait, we were talking to the legendary Shadow Mains? Holy shit, no way, really? Oh, no.
But guys, thank you so
I'm
much for doing
embarrassed and
this.
stuff now.
Oh
I'm
gosh,
not
oh
dressed for
gosh.
this.
Oh, you're making me blush, please. But yeah, no,
Good.
guys, thank you so much for coming out and doing this. I hope this has been as much fun for you guys as this has been for me.
Thank you for having us.
Totally.
Thank you. Been great. Thank you very much, my man.
Hell yeah.
And remember, people, whenever you engage and follow any of us, whenever you drop into our channels to support us, you save a kitten.
A future Palico. You save a future Palico.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to see more things like this in the future. Also, I stream over at twitch.tv/ShadowMain, so if you want to catch me outside of the videos, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that would be a fantastic time to, just come hang out and play some Monster Hunter. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.